Welcome back to the Cannabis Podcast. I appreciate you being here. And sorry it's been a while for a video. I've had a lot going on, but we're back. And not in any convenient timing either, where Donald Trump says he's looking at reclassifying marijuana at the federal level. Not to be confused with Joe Biden in 2023 and 4 saying the Biden administration plans to reclassify marijuana, easing restrictions nationwide. Still waiting on that, Joe. So maybe Trump will do it. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. I'll pin the links to these articles, but I'm sure you've seen the talk about this right now. And I don't know why Donald Trump is talking about it right now. Maybe there's some other things that he wants to distract from, most notably Jelaine and those things. Now, Trump is a businessman, so he might reclassify marijuana and then do safe banking to make it easier for banking. However, he could have just done that because he just passed signed an executive order allowing crypto to be banked at banks, saying no banks can discriminate because of crypto. So he could have just added "and cannabis" right there. Boom, done. So he just proved you don't need Congress to do it to allow banking or reclassification or anything. The DEA during the Biden administration, the Health and Human Services Department said during the Biden administration that it should be rescheduled. I don't agree with it. I think it should be descheduled and completely legalized for medical, and then let the states decide if they want to do it recreationally, since that is how the Constitution's written. I'm not saying that's my opinion. I'm saying that's the way the law is interpreted. And medical, it's been proven, obviously is medicinally beneficial. Of course, it can be abused recreationally, just like anything else can, just like coffee, just like sugar, just like alcohol, obviously. So maybe Trump may classify it, but what I do know is just the mention of it sent cannabis stocks through the roof. And, obviously it's a speculative market and there's only so many multi-state operators in the cannabis world. And they're usually big companies. So they probably did well on this news, pumped their bags for a little bit. And then who knows what's going to happen. But we've said here on this channel for a very long time that cannabis is the ace in the hole. Whoever side, Democrats or Republicans, legalize it or just make some sort of forward move on it that helps businesses or people or whatever, will benefit politically from it. And Trump being the person that will just take any opportunity to win, he doesn't care morally if you agree with cannabis or not. Can you make money off of it? Sure. Then, yeah, let's deschedule it and then probably invest in those companies. If I was a betting man, that's probably what I would bet he would do. I don't think he'll recreationally legalize it nationwide. But what's interesting is because Texas, even though they were about to do a ban on hemp, mostly synthetic hemp-derived stuff, they actually expanded their medical marijuana program, which is interesting. They just added new, what are they called? Things to consider, reasons of why you could be prescribed symptoms and things like that, why you could be prescribed medicinal marijuana. And I think they added like PTSD or something to it. I don't think they added that you could get flour or make any changes on products available, but I think it was just reasons of why you should be issued medical marijuana was expanded. So it's interesting. There's a lot of cannabis news floating around all at the same time. In the news, interestingly, Mike Tyson, who's invested in cannabis and a vocal advocate, Mike Tyson said, whether he fights again depends on federal marijuana legalization and rescheduling. Interesting take from Michael Tyson, who, history aside, let's just talk about cannabis. But he's a former inmate that invested in cannabis, and him along the lines, a lot of athletes are getting into the cannabis world. Kevin Durant, Des Bryant, Antonio Brown, they all signed a letter going to the White House. Mike Tyson even said, I'm disappointed in Joe Biden and Barack Obama and every other president before him for not doing cannabis. The more science that comes out, it's just undeniable. And then you're going to get, fudsters and haters on the neocon right mostly that are just prohibitionists that are invested in DEA and ICE and all that kind of stuff, not knowing that we are the illegal drug trade. But, whatever. Go up to the mountains of Mendocino and tell me what you see. But I think there's a lot of talk about cannabis right now, which there hasn't been for, obvious the whole Trump presidency so far until now. I don't know if that would have changed if Kamala won. Maybe you'd have more pressure to do it because the left is usually more advocate about it than the right is, although there's a lot of libertarians that are very pro-cannabis. So I think Donald Trump will everybody knows that reads the data, that cannabis is a multi-billion-dollar, world trillion-dollar industry. So it would make sense for businessmen like Donald Trump to invest in it regardless of their own personal feelings, because that's what they do. They invest in things regardless of their own personal feelings because, as the Godfather said, it's not personal, it's just business. So, tell me what you think in the comments. If you think Trump will do this, how do you think he'll do it? Yeah, and I'll post all the articles into the comments section and pin them for you to check out on your own. But that's the weird news going on about cannabis all of a sudden. But there are some good developments. Excuse me. I guess I can't talk today. Such as tax revenue coming in from every legal state. It's in the billions. Let's just leave it at that. So I think that's that. If the economy goes south, or if you need just a new industry to come online, crypto is cool. It's great. It's a new industry, but there's no physical product or people working in a physical place like cannabis is a farm, and there's family farms, and there's ancillary businesses, bottling, packaging, and drinks and vapes and all different kinds of things, lounges, hotels, tourism. That's the only industry really left that hasn't been just squeezed like a sponge, at least in America yet. But I know tourism in California and Colorado are huge for cannabis because people want to go relax and smoke and go drink some edibles and eat some gummies and go to the concerts, and Red Rocks is awesome and all that kind of cool stuff. Imagine if you could do that in every state and not have to worry about it. And it's just, I think they're in the process of figuring out how to replenish ICE and those ICE detention camps and jails and prisons that they own with immigrants rather than cannabis people, because they know they can't keep cannabis people there for 20, 30 years anymore. But maybe they could with the people they're putting there now. I don't know, but I know that's a big for-profit industry, who ironically the Dodgers ownership owns part of, but I digress. That's a different podcast. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the cannabis world right now. RFK Jr. has been notably silent since running for president, saying his whole plan about how they were going to tax it and make healing centers. And I guess he's just too busy right now with other things. I don't know. Maybe it's on his to-do list. Maybe it's not. I don't have a direct line to him or an indirect line to him. So your guess is as good as mine. But I hope things do go in the right way. I hope he doesn't deschedule it, because then people will think that, oh, look, we did it. And no, we didn't. We actually made it worse, because they can still arrest you. And then now it looks like we did something. So then no one's going to say we need to do more. It's exhausting. But, write your local person, your mayor mostly, and see how they can do things like decriminalizing in the city ordinances and things like that. Austin did it, notably, and then other cities and states have done it. So, get ready, because it's coming at some point. It's just we don't know when or how. So thank you for joining me. If you have any news that I should be aware of, drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'm going to try to put out more videos and, just not necessarily with video, but videos with news and things like that. You get what I'm saying. So, until next time, stay blessed, and don't forget to tip your bud tenders. Peace.